We got us a weird monster thing, and we got the devil. And we got, I guess that old lady's as close to a witch as I ever wanted to get. So we got 3 of them. Now, last year I told the story of the devil's dulcimer. And I introduced it by telling you that it's one of my favorite stories. But I said one of my favorites. This is another favorite. This story has been, I've been fortunate in telling it because it has always had circumstances that out of my control that has worked to make the story even better. So don't let me forget, and I'll tell you when the story is done, some of the stuff that happened when I've told this story. This is a historical tale about Pennsylvania, about this area. I'd guess, about 300 years ago now, when wolves still roamed the mountains of Pennsylvania. There was a guy who was known as Fiddling Jack. And everybody in the Wyoming Valley wanted Fiddling Jack whenever they got together to listen to music. Whenever there was a celebration of any kind, if it was a barn dance, if it was a wedding, whatever, everybody wanted Fiddling Jack because they knew he was the best fiddler around. And when he played his fiddle, that music was so special. There was something wild and haunting about it. It just made you want to get up and dance. Most folks said it was because of the way Jack had learned how to play that fiddle. Now, his daddy had taught him some, but mostly he taught himself by going up into the mountains and listening to the sounds of nature. He heard the scream of the panther, the drumming of the ruffled grouse. He'd heard the hooting of the owl, and he'd capture those sounds and he'd play them on the fiddle. So when he played that fiddle, you could hear a stream running. You could hear snow fall. You could hear the break of dawn. Now, it was at a harvest festival in a big old barn that Jack first laid eyes on Katrina. Dark Katrina. Beautiful young girl with jet black hair and dark, dark eyes. Almost everyone in the barn was dancing except for Katrina. She sat at the edge of the barn with her husband, or not husband, her father, Sheriff McKee. Jack noticed her and he asked the guys in the barn who she was, and they said, "Oh, that's Katrina. Don't bother with her because she's not really that friendly. She has nothing to do with anybody. Never dances. She's just here." But that didn't stop Jack. When there was a break in the music, he went over to introduce himself. He spoke to the sheriff first. He said, "Sheriff, I hear you've been having some trouble with wolves at your place. So if you'd like, I'll hunt them for you, and you can pay me by the scalp." The sheriff said that'd be good. Pay $1 a scalp, hunt the ridge behind my place. And once the deal had been made, Jack turned to Katrina. He said, I don't think I've ever had the pleasure of meeting your daughter. Katrina, would you care to dance?" Katrina said, "No, I don't dance. It's time I'd be going." He just got up and left. All that autumn into the winter, Jack hunted the ridge behind the McKee place. He found himself a little clearing in a circle of trees, and he built a little shelter that he could hide in. And each night he'd go up there with his rifle and his fiddle, and he'd go down into that little hiding spot and wait. He'd pick up his fiddle and he'd play some long howls and some short yips. Calling in the wolves. And when a wolf would come, he'd put the fiddle down and pick up his rifle. Now, whenever he got a wolf, he'd go down to the McKee farm the next day, and Katrina would always answer the door, and she was always cordial, but never really friendly. And she always had this look like she knew something. He didn't. One cold winter night, full moon, Jack went up there to hunt him some wolves. He got down in his little shelter and he started to play his wolf's howls, and hadn't played too long till this little she-wolf entered the clearing. put the fiddle down, picked up the rifle. He squeezed the trigger and there was a loud snap as the hammer came forward. But the rifle didn't fire. The wolf's ears shot up at the sound of that snap. And she started to sniff the air. Now, old flintlock rifles, they often misfired. In the past, other wolves would smell until they picked up Jack's scent, and then they would run off. But this wolf was different. This one picked up his scent, and she just lowered her head, bared her teeth, and she came running right for him. He pulled out his knife and he slashed as she leapt at him and caught her in the paw. She fell to the ground and struggled up to her feet and then ran off into the night. And Jack just lay there, waiting to see if this wolf would come back. He had killed a lot of wolves, even missed a few, but never had a wolf acted like this one. Normally they run for their lives. Put his knife away, picked up his rifle and fiddle, and headed on home. Enough wolving for one night. The next day he went down to talk to the sheriff and warn her about the strange wolf. Maybe it had rabies. When he knocked at the door, Katrina answered. And he said, "Morning, Katrina, it's the sheriff." And then he stopped because he noticed her hand was wrapped in a bloody rag. "What happened to your hand?" "Oh, it's nothing. I cut it making dinner last night. Come on in, Jack. I'll get you some coffee. Did you get any wolves last night?" "Nah, I missed one, but I'll get it tonight." And Katrina just smiled. All that day, Jack worked, and cleaning and oiling that rifle, trying to make sure it would work. He fired it again and again. His life depended on it working. And just in case, he took a pistol and put it in his pocket. When night came, he went back up to his little clearing, back to his little shelter, hid down there and started to play that fiddle. And as he played, the little she-wolf came back into the clearing. Same one, limping a bit. He put that fiddle down and picked up that rifle, aimed for her chest and fired. There was a loud snap, a puff of smoke, flashes of sparks. But nothing came out. The wolf, she didn't wait this time. She just lowered her head and charged. And she was almost upon him when he pulled out that pistol and shot it as it came through the air. It fell down into the middle of the clearing, and he got at its knife to finish her off. But when he got close enough, he could see that he had grazed her back leg, but not hurt her enough to approach her with a knife. So he put his knife away and took out his pistol and started reloading. And the little wolf, she struggled to her feet and then limped off into the night.